Hello there, thank you for joining us on the news at 4. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the Buhari administration will proceed with its plan for a conditional cash transfer scheme and other social welfare interventions in order to ensure that no one is left behind. The Vice President spoke earlier today at the reception held at the Kano State Government House in honor of Malam Garba Shehu, the Senior Special Assistant and Media and Publicity to the President. It was the same message of hope that Professor Osinbajo earlier took to the internally displaced persons camp school in Marini, Kano, where it told the children displaced from Borno State not to lose hope, assuring them that the federal government is committed to their future. He was accompanied by the Kano State Governor, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, and other officials and dignitaries from the state. Professor Osinbajo interacted with the children at the IDP school, where some 100 children from Borno State are receiving education and psychological therapy, courtesy of the Kano State government. President Muhammadu Buhari has exempted the governing councils of federal universities from the recently announced dissolution of boards of federal government's parastatals and agencies. The exception, according to the presidency, is a temporary move to ensure that the institutions continue to run without any hitches. Special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, disclosed these in a statement on Saturday. He said all vice-chancellors of federal universities have been duly informed of the exemption by the head of the civil service of Federation, Danladi Gifasi. Some senators have hailed the appointment of key members of the Senate Unity Forum as chairmen of sensitive committees. They described the move as signs of a readiness by Senate President Bukola Saraki to adopt a non-partisan approach in constituting committees. Senators Aliyu Abdullahi, Larry Tejosho, and Peter Nwabushe in Abuja says it's a reflection. The decision reflects the hand of the chairmanship of two of the influential committees that have so far been named to members of the Unity Forum. They cited the appointment of Senator Babajide Omoworare from the Osun East as chairman of a powerful committee on rules and business, which they describe as the engine room of the Senate, as welcomed. The senators also pointed at the choice of Senator Barnabas Gemade as chairman of the ADA Committee on Review of State of Roads and Areas Suffering Environmental Degradation, despite they being the arrowhead of the Unity Forum. One of the 81 senators who passed a vote of confidence on Senate President Bukola Saraki says he and his colleagues decided to back him in national interest. Kabiru Gaya has no regret about his action and insisted that he is not in the Senate to push a personal agenda. Gaya, who initially did not support Saraki, told journalists in Abuja that it was time now to forge ahead with the party's change agenda.
Whatever way the thing happens, we should try to be united and now assist the Buhari administration. Because if we are fighting in the Senate, there is no way Buhari can do his job well because we are his immediate constituents. He relates to us, like now the appointment of the service chiefs. After maybe next month you come up with the appointment of ministers. Either next time you come up with a bill. So if we are fighting, this can't work. So I'm appealing to all my colleagues in the Senate to unite ourselves and move forward. I think there is no basis of which fighting will help us. Position has been given is done by God. If God has never destined this man to be the leader of the Senate, the president of the Senate, he wouldn't be. So be it that he's there now, let us cooperate and work with him and let us move forward. Because we came with the high hopes. Nigerians need this change. Nigerians have high expectations of President Buhari. Therefore, we should not be fighting. We should work together. 2 months we are at the Senate, we are trying to sort ourselves out. Now that it is, it's not 100%, it's just 80% okay. Now I'm appealing to all our elders within the APC to close this rank and let's move forward. I think that we cannot continue because Nigerians will not be happy with us if we continue fighting when there are a lot of crises on our hands.
A federal lawmaker representing Akure North and South constituency in the House of Representatives wants the police to do more to stop incessant kidnapping in Akure and Ado-Ekiti Hadisha Kere told CoreTV News in Abuja that the rise in activities of kidnappers is creating tension and worry among the residents of those areas. He also suggested that the crackdown on perpetrators be extended to other parts of the country where the act is worrisome.
We want these activities of the kidnappers to be curtailed, to be checked, before, it turned out to be another thing. So my interest, and that is why we even mention names of both prominent and, like I said it, not too prominent people that have been kidnapped. And most times, these kidnappers always raise or demand for ransom, of which many of the families of those people that have been victims could not even imagine or raise. And people in Ondo State and Ekiti have said could no longer sleep with their two eyes closed. And people now, are afraid even to engage themselves in their daily activities.
Two communities in Jos Plateau State, Jotes and Gashion in Tudunwada area, have been cut off from the rest of the city as the only access road is now in bad state as a result of rainfall. The link bridge leading to the highway is also not accessible. However, the residents of the areas are calling for government's quick intervention to put adequate measures in place to prevent any further disaster.
Now that the rains are back, several communities in Plateau State are faced with the problems of flooding and other hazard of a poor drainage system. Plateau State was among one of the worst hit in 2012 as a result of flooding which swept through many cities in Nigeria. Residents of Plateau State are living in perpetual fear over a repeat of 2012 events. They are calling for intervention and a quick fix solution to the damaged roads. Speaking with some residents of the area, they decried government abandonment and call on spirited individuals to come to the raid.
This place has been here more than 10 years, as my mothers have said, and this is a community effort that as you can see. And anytime that this rain is here, we can spend more than 4 hours before the rain got off, then we cross. So we are appealing to the new coming government, if they can do something about it, it will be appreciated.
How long has it been like this?
So good 1 hour 30 minutes.
Wow. And it's just going down bit by bit.
Yes, sir.
Whenever it's up like this, what do you people do?
We used to stay here for a long time before it's up.
This resident of the community laments the bad state of the road. She therefore called on the government to take urgent steps to repair the access road. According to her, it will be difficult to access the city from the community.
I'm not happy about it at all, because we've been passing through this for years, year in, year out. You can see, you can imagine if there's an emergency, what will we want to do? If government will help us at least, even if they will not construct the road, let them just make a local bridge across this place.
We'll take a break now and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Is it what crazy or talk crazy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth.
Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I say to hell
On
with it.
Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody have the right in Nigeria,
where you are the judge.
Torschütze zum zwischenzeitlichen 1:1. Semenike. Schickt Musa, da ist Ahmed Musa! Und da ist der Ausgleich!
It's a beautiful Saturday evening in the city of Lagos.
Off the turn, Phelps had it, but then Matsui kept going.
Finals. 5 to shoot. Leonard does.
Sports is concerned, and of course, making a difference for all of us here from all our production crew. Thanks for all your pleasure.
Welcome back. You can get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NJ, and we're streaming live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV with the space and news. Women across the globe, especially in Africa, have been challenged to aspire for leadership positions. And of course, this is happening constantly developing the potentials to impact the world positively. This call was made by the convener of Young Women in Dignity, Kingsley Bangwell, who added that the world has gotten to a point where women are needed for society development. Amatayalo has details.
With Africa's population projected to increase to 2.4 billion from 1.1 billion by 2050, and women's population peaking at 1/3 of the entire population, projected to reach 9.6 billion in about 4 decades from now, the bar has now been raised for women to move from being just passive bystanders to active participants in business, politics, and even at the home front. This was the objective of the organizers of Young Women in Dignity Summit, to awaken women to fulfill their inborn potentials and become a source of encouragement to other women.
Now I'm looking forward to a time when we'll have a female president in Nigeria. I've always said I believe that women are better managers, and so they should be given that kind of platform to move our nation to the next level.
People are beginning to understand that you can start small. For me, it's a great thing.
For these over 17 women who have come together from 10 states, however, the challenge of being change agent is one they are ready to take on.
Let that thing inside of you come out, and it has a lot of things to do. Like it will actually change life.
Being a part of the government does not necessarily automatically make you a bad person or something, but it's more of giving you an opportunity, a platform to be a part of what happens, to be an influence, to be a change agent.
The society is besetted with so many problems, too much problems, and once the society is bereft of these problems, we women, we have to stand up for ourselves, not forgetting our initial roles as women.
A judge at the Emergent Summit and a member of Women in Politics Abuja chapter, Charity Anaje, young women must see politics as an opportunity to actively participate in influencing policies that directly affect them and not an avenue to make quick money.
Being in politics does not mean you are advertising yourself, but being in politics means that you are part of the decision-making body of the government. And if women that we know form more than 50% of those that vote and the population of the world, then it is expedient that women also should be part of those that will form the government.
As the campaign for women involvement in leadership gradually becomes a movement, the women hope that their male counterpart will be supportive of them and not see them as threats or inferior beings. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Abuja.
And now to Ekiti State, where the chapter of the All Progressives Congress there has raised alarm over what it described as clampdown and arbitrary arrest of its members by the PDP-led state government. The party, however, blamed the state police commissioner for being used as a political tool. Our correspondent, Rashid has the rest of the story.
The arrest of Rotimi Olabiwonu, otherwise known as Mentilo, a strong member of the All Progressives Congress and former chairman of the Road Transport Union, has raised dust between the Ekiti State government and the All Progressives Congress. The magistrate court sitting in Ado Ekiti has reserved ruling on the bail application of Mentilo.
We have canvassed the matter before the court, and the state had responded. So we are of the opinion that everything is left for the court to make a pronouncement.
But the former governor and deputy national chairman of the APC, Segun Oni, he accused the Ekiti State Police Command of complicity in the arrest of APC members in the state.
They are clamping our people into prison under very flimsy excuses, and I want to tell the commissioner of police should realize that Nigeria did not sign for continuity of impunity, which is still going on here. And I hope it will not lead us to a situation where people like us will come on the street with people one day to challenge the morality behind him. That would be an invitation to public chaos. The worst he can do then is to mow all of us down and kill us, and other people will take over from us.
While Segun Oni opines that the alleged muzzle-up is consequent upon the politics of the state, the former state governor is however optimistic that his party, APC, will rule the state in the next governorship election.
I don't know whether he's going to wait until 2018 or before 2018. That's not my concern. My belief is that whenever we are putting the next person in Okebareke, by God's grace, that will be an APC state face.
Observers are of the view that the People's Democratic Party in the state and All Progressives Congress are upping their game and scheming ahead the next political dispensation. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
The Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha has attributed his achievement of the state to the reasonable cut in the cost of running government. The governor disclosed these in an interactive session with NU Day correspondents. Our correspondent has details.
As part of his campaign promises, seeing to the development of the state in the area of security, infrastructure, job creation and many more, despite the industrial action embarked by the workers, Governor Rochas Okorocha has given genuine concern in attending to the issues.
Governor Hakim, the Ayajok, which has now been remodeled completely, if you go there, you'll be pleased. I'll be proud to say I'm like this 5 times I'm going there today. You'll be proud what you see there, that the entire Hajok has been remodeled into a Chamber of Commerce, Trade and Industry, the headquarters of the JAB. So if you go there, you see it, and as I'm talking to you now, the place has gone completely new. If you go inside, you will never know that's the same Hajok you used to know. And the name Hajok has been removed, the Chamber of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
The governor, who had completed several roads projects in the state, as well as the amazingly opening of first, second and third inland road, assured the residents of more dividends of democracy.
You appreciate it, but people don't appreciate it when they're there. But I want you to see some of the projects that we're doing as a measure of sacrifice and calling down cost of governance. This government has cut down cost of governance by almost to the barest minimum. And you're going to see more of that in the political appointees anyway and what again.
Work at the Imo Chambers of Commerce, as stated by the governor, is ongoing, and by the end of this month, activities will begin fully. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed a suit challenging the People's Democratic Party governorship primaries that produced the Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade. An aspirant in the PDP primaries, Joe Age, had approached the court asking it to nullify the governorship election on the grounds that Ayade presented a false declaration of age certificate to INEC. Delivering judgment on the suit, Justice Abdul Gafarati held that the plaintiff failed to furnish the court with enough documents to prove his allegation.
The judge has clearly shown to the public and to the world that this matter, the court has no jurisdiction, number one, that the matter is a pre-election matter and that is an internal affair of the party. So, number two, that the totality of the arguments that the plaintiff brought, was faulty and have no grounds, and that the court have judiciously dismissed the case.
The sitting governor did not pay his dues, membership dues to PDP. And as PDP, we came and said he paid to us, and we cleared him to contest the primary. after being satisfied that he has paid all his dues and that he's an obedient member of the party who has complied with all the requirements. And we argue that in any event, the issue of payment of membership dues is internal to the party. The courts do not have jurisdiction to dabble into such affairs. So if the parties have said, fine, we are satisfied with what a candidate has done, and he has paid his dues to us, and we are okay, we want to allow him to contest the primary, that's fine now. It's not for the courts to dabble into such issues and start making findings.
Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal has set aside the decision of the National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal in Kogi State to strike out a case filed by Senator Smata Adeyemi of the People's Democratic Party against the election of Senator Dino Malaye of the All Progressives Congress. Delivering judgment in the appeal, Justice Mohammed Adome held that the tribunal was wrong in striking out Adeyemi's petition on technicalities instead of on substantial justice. Justice Adome also ordered that the matter be returned to the tribunal for a trial. The appellate court further said the tribunal's position that the petition was not filed within the time frame allowed by law was wrong.
The tribunal for expeditious disposal of the matter, and in a different panel, different from the one that considered the motion in the first place. The Court of Appeal found a lot of irregularity in the filing and service of the reply, which they earlier contended was served on the petitioner on the 13th day of May 2015, and affirmed that it was served on 14 May 2015 as the position of the petitioner at the lower court at the tribunal.
We'll take a break now, and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Political Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
On business, efforts by the Central Bank of Nigeria to stabilize the naira at the interbank market depleted the nation's external reserves by $4.9 billion in the first quarter of 2015. According to figures from the CBN, the reserves fell by 14.3%, down from $34.24 billion at the end of December 2014 to $29.36 billion at the end of March the same year. The bank, in its latest external sector development report for the first quarter of 2015, stated that the reserves for March 2015 dropped by $85 billion when compared to what it was at the end of March 2014. It attributed the decline in the external reserves to its intervention at the interbank, funding of a retail Dutch auction system, as well as the bank's drive to stabilize the local currency. A breakdown of external reserves by holdings, according to a report, revealed that the share of the CBN portion maintained the lead at $24.99 billion. That's about 85.1% of the total, while the portion of the Federation reserves and the federal government reserves stood at $2.26 billion, 7.7%, and $2.1 billion, 7.2% respectively. It noted that the aggregate demand for foreign exchange by the authorized dealers consisting of RDAs and Bureau de Change operators in the first quarter of 2015 amounted to $9.5 billion as against $14.47 billion and $16.2 billion demanded in the preceding and corresponding quarters. In the year 2014, that was representing a decline of 3.3, 34.3 and 41.3% respectively. Greece must seek 24 billion euros in a first tranche of bailout aid from international lenders in August to prop up its banks and repay debt following filling due at the ECB. Athens is now in talks with the European Commission and the International Monetary Fund to secure up to 86 billion euros, that's about $94.48 billion, in bailout aid, which will be its third bailout since 2010. The first tranche of 24.36 billion would be used to channel 10 billion euros as an initial recapitalization to Greek banks, 7.16 billion euros to repay an emergency bridge loan, and 3.2 billion euros toward Greek bonds held by the European Central Bank and other payments. It has been estimated that Greek banks may require up to 25 billion euros to be recapitalized, a shortfall exacerbated by an outflow of deposits when a stalemate with lenders threatened Athens' place in the Eurozone. The flood of money leaving the country culminated in authorities imposing capital controls on June 29 to prevent a financial meltdown. In exchange for funding, Greece has accepted reforms, including making significant pension adjustments, increasing value-added taxes, overhauling its collective bargaining system, and measures to liberalize its economy and limit public spending. And now to stories outside Nigeria. A second piece of suspected plane debris has washed ashore on the Indian Ocean island of Reunion after a wing part suspected to come from the missing flight MH370 was found on Wednesday. The object, believed to be the door of an aircraft, was discovered just south of the city of St. Denis. It's said to have writing on it and possibly some illustration. A Malaysia Airlines flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing disappeared last March with 239 people on board. Malaysia's Transport Ministry says it now wants to expand the search for more debris around Reunion. An Australian-led search, an effort for the plane, has so far focused on the vast area of the southern Indian Ocean, about 4,000 kilometers, that's 2,500 miles to the east of Reunion. No physical trace of the aircraft has been found yet. However, Malaysia's Transport Minister has confirmed that the object found on the beach at St. Andre on Wednesday is a wing flap from a Boeing 777, the same type of aircraft as the one that vanished. The piece has gone to France, where investigators in the city of Toulouse will seek to establish if it came from MH370. They'll begin their work this Wednesday. The center in Toulouse was also involved in analyzing debris from the Air France flight AF447, which crashed on the way to Paris from Brazil in 2009, killing 228 people. 2 Turkish security troops have been killed and 31 others wounded in a suicide attack by Kurdish PKK militants. Turkish media report says that a tractor laden with explosives was driven at the military police station in the early hours of Sunday near the town of Dugubayis in Agri, near the border with Iran. Since 24th of July, Turkey has carried out hundreds of air raids on PKK bases on both sides of the Iraqi-Turkey border. The Turkish state says that the tractor was carrying 2 tons of explosives, which were detonated by a suicide bomber. Turkey's army, however, says in a statement that the long-range guns were also found further injured in serious conditions. Images in the Turkish press shows a badly damaged building with the roof destroyed, the regional governor says. An Egyptian court sentenced 300 loyalists of the currently blacklisted Muslim Brotherhood group of former Islamist President Mohamed Morsi for 3 to 10 years in prison over violence charges. Zagaze Court in Shakia province, that's Moses' hometown, sentenced 31 to 10 years and 269 to 3 years after being convicted of inciting and committing acts of violence, possessing weapons and belonging to the Brotherhood group. Meanwhile, another criminal court in Giza, near the capital Cairo, delayed the trial of 379 Brotherhood members and supporters over weapon possession, murder and vandalism, and charges during 2013 pro-Moses sitting to enable the lawyers, and gave them till October 2018 to enable the lawyers to read the case and prepare for defense. And now to sport. United midfielder Michael Carrick has snapped overtures from Paris Saint-Germain to stay at Old Trafford. PSG boss Laurent Blanc is a big admirer of Carrick and was hoping to lure the classy midfielder to the Parc des Princes as a look to strengthen the League One champions for next season's assault on retaining the title and the Champions League. PSG were hopeful of landing Carrick after Louis van Gaal strengthened United's midfield this summer with the additions of Bastian Schweinsteiger and Morgan Schneiderlin. The arrival of the high-profile duo has made competition for places fierce in United's engine room, and it's also been suggested Carrick could find himself pushed out of the starting six, as it will no longer be an automatic pick. However, Carrick remains a key member of Van Gaal's side, with the Dutchman determined to keep the England international, as United enjoyed their best run of form last season with Carrick on the side. Carrick, who signed a new deal at Old Trafford in March, was told about embarking on a new challenge in France with PSG, but the player has rejected the interest, as he has no plans to leave United. Angel Di Maria looks set now to have a medical from Paris Saint-Germain in the next 24 hours after Manchester United agreed to sell him to the French club for 63 million. Di Maria is due to hold talks with PSG officials in Doha on Sunday and will undergo a medical. If all goes as planned, he could sign as soon as Monday. United gave Di Maria permission to speak to PSG after an agreement was made. The fee, 63 million, with a big spending French champions. United signed Di Maria from Real Madrid for 59.7 million last summer, but after an encouraging start, his form dipped drastically, and he started only one of the final 10 games of last season. The former Real Madrid winger was left unsettled after an attempted burglary at his Cheshire home in February. As recently as June, Di Maria said he wanted to stay at United, but it became apparent that he had his heart set on a move to the French capital in the last couple of weeks. The Argentine was due to report for duty during the second leg of United's preseason tour of the United States on July 25, but failed to show up. Van Gaal is expected to move quickly to sign a replacement for Di Maria. The Dutchman is interested in Barcelona forward Pedro, who was frustrated by his lack of game time at the Camp Nou last season. South Sudan will compete at Rio 2016 after becoming the 206th member of the Olympic movement. The International Olympic Committee unanimously approved the inclusion of the African Republic, which became independent in 2011. IOC President Thomas Bach wished the country a bright future after its inclusion was ratified. The South Sudanese marathon runner Go Maria did compete at London 2012, but under the Olympic flag, as South Sudan was not yet an IOC member. South Sudan already has a men's football team due to take part in qualifying for the 2018 World Cup. Britain's Jamie Murray and Australian John Peers won the Hamburg Open doubles title with victory over Colombian Pierre-Juan Sebastian Cabal and Robert Farah. After the first two sets were shared, Murray and Peers took the fourth set tie-break on the 18th point to win 2-6, 6-3, 10-8. Murray, 29, and his 27-year-old partner were beaten in the Wimbledon doubles final in July. They are fifth in the race to qualify for the ATP Tour Finals. And that does it on the news this hour. Do join us again at the top of the hour for more. I am Nifeli.